What if I told you that the fastest Linux distro ever tested doesn't care whether you're running a brand new gaming rig or a 10-year-old Office PC pulled from storage? What if I told you that insane performance isn't just about benchmarks, but about how a system feels the moment you click, open, drag, compile, boot, or game? Today we're diving into a distribution that redefines speed, strips away unnecessary weight, and delivers raw, aggressive performance on almost any machine you throw at it. This is not about flashy animations. This is not about pre-installed apps. This is about pure, unfiltered speed. When we talk about speed in Linux, most people immediately think of lightweight distributions. They imagine minimal desktops, basic window managers, and stripped-down packages. But speed is more than just being lightweight. It's about kernel optimization, scheduler tuning, file system efficiency, package freshness, CPU microarchitecture support, and how aggressively the system eliminates bottlenecks. The fastest Linux distro ever tested combines all of these elements into one streamlined experience. From the moment the power button is pressed, you feel the difference. Boot times drop dramatically. On SSD systems, you're looking at near-instant desktop access. On older HDD systems, performance feels shockingly modern. There's no sluggish splash screen delay, no unnecessary service bloat starting silently in the background. Everything has purpose. Everything is optimized. One of the biggest reasons this distro feels insanely fast is its minimal base philosophy. Instead of shipping hundreds of background services just in case, it installs only what is required. That means lower RAM usage, fewer daemons consuming CPU cycles, and faster process scheduling. On a system with 4 GB of RAM, it feels comfortable. On 8 GB, it flies. On 16 GB or more, it becomes almost impossible to slow down in daily tasks. Now let's talk about the kernel. Performance-focused Linux distributions often use a tuned kernel variant. Some adopt low-latency configurations. Others integrate aggressive CPU scheduler tweaks. In this case, the kernel is compiled to prioritize desktop responsiveness. That means reduced input latency, faster task switching, and better thread distribution across cores. Even on older dual-core processors, multitasking feels smoother than expected. Package freshness plays a huge role too. Rolling release systems tend to deliver newer compilers, optimized libraries, and up-to-date drivers. That directly impacts performance. Modern Mesa graphics drivers boost integrated GPU output. Updated CPU microcode patches improve instruction efficiency. Newer compilers generate more optimized binaries. All of this stacks together into measurable gains. Then there's the Filesystem choice. Many performance-oriented distros lean toward Filesystems that balance speed and reliability. Fast read and write operations reduce application load times. SSD optimization ensures minimal wear while maximizing throughput. When launching a browser, a code editor, or a heavy creative suite, the difference becomes clear. Programs open almost instantly, but raw benchmarks only tell part of the story. The real test is daily usage. Opening multiple browser tabs, streaming video while compiling code, editing higher resolution images, running virtual machines. The fastest Linux distro ever tested handles these tasks without hesitation. CPU usage spikes are short and controlled. RAM management is efficient. Swap behavior is intelligent. On older hardware, the transformation is dramatic. A system that struggled under Windows suddenly feels reborn. Boot times shrink. Desktop animations remain fluid. Applications that once stuttered now open smoothly. That's the magic of a lean Linux system tuned for performance. Gaming performance is another area where speed truly shines. With optimized drivers and minimal overhead, more system resources are allocated to the game itself. Higher frame rates become achievable. Frame pacing improves. Input latency drops. Even mid-range GPUs benefit from reduced background resource consumption. Pair this distro with tools like Proton and modern Mesa drivers, and you've got a surprisingly powerful gaming setup. Developers especially benefit from this kind of speed. Compiling large codebases becomes faster due to efficient CPU utilization. Container workloads run smoothly thanks to minimal system overhead. Terminal responsiveness is instant. Package installation feels snappy. When every second matters during development cycles, that responsiveness adds up. One major factor contributing to insane performance is the absence of unnecessary graphical effects. Instead of flashy compositors draining GPU cycles, the distro focuses on smoothness. You can still enable visual enhancements if you want, but by default, it prioritizes responsiveness over decoration. Memory management is another secret weapon. Instead of bloated preloaded services, the system keeps RAM usage lean at idle. Lower idle RAM means more memory available for active tasks. Applications load into memory without forcing aggressive swapping. Even on limited systems, multitasking remains stable. Startup services are carefully curated. Only essential processes launch at boot. You're not running half a dozen background utilities that you never asked for. This lean startup routine is one reason why boot times are so impressive. Power efficiency is also improved. Optimized CPU governors adjust frequency dynamically without lag. On laptops, this means longer battery life while still delivering performance bursts when needed. The system doesn't constantly run at maximum clock speeds. It scales intelligently. Security updates don't slow it down either. Thanks to efficient patch management and modern package systems, updates install quickly. No lengthy reboot processes unless absolutely necessary. Even kernel updates are streamlined. Let's discuss hardware compatibility. The fastest Linux distro ever tested supports a wide range of devices. From legacy BIOS machines to modern UEFI systems, installation is smooth. Graphics drivers for both AMD and Intel GPUs perform exceptionally well thanks to strong open-source support. Even NVIDIA users can achieve solid performance with proper driver configuration. The installer itself is minimal and efficient. No overwhelming options, no forced software bundles. Just a straightforward setup process that gets you into the system quickly. Another performance advantage comes from reduced telemetry and background data collection. Unlike some operating systems that continuously monitor usage metrics, this distro respects system resources and user privacy. That absence of constant background network activity improves responsiveness and lowers CPU usage. For advanced users, the real fun begins with customization. Because the base system is lean, you can build exactly what you need. Want a lightweight tiling window manager? Install it. Prefer a full-featured desktop environment? Add it. The flexibility allows you to balance speed and functionality however you choose. Storage footprint is impressively small. The base install consumes far less disk space than mainstream operating systems. That leaves room for applications and personal data without requiring massive storage upgrades. Another often overlooked performance factor is software optimization for specific CPU architectures. Some speed-focused distros compile packages optimized for modern processors rather than generic compatibility. That means binaries can take advantage of advanced instruction sets like AVX2 or SSE4. These optimizations result in noticeable speed improvements in tasks like video encoding or compression. Network performance also feels faster. Lightweight network managers and efficient DNS resolution contribute to quick page loads and stable connections. Even file transfers over LAN feel responsive and consistent. System updates are incremental and efficient. Instead of massive periodic upgrades, changes are delivered continuously. This rolling approach ensures you're always running optimized code without waiting months for major releases. Let's talk about real-world testing scenarios. On a 10-year-old laptop with a dual-core CPU and 4 GB RAM, Pliff's distro boots in under 20 seconds from HDD idle. RAM usage sits comfortably low. Browsing with multiple tabs remains usable. Video playback at 1080p is smooth with hardware acceleration enabled. On a mid-range desktop with a quad-core processor and SSD, boot time drops to under 10 seconds. Application launch times are nearly instant. Gaming performance matches or exceeds heavier distributions because system overhead is minimal. On a high-end workstation with 32 GB RAM and a powerful GPU, the experience becomes almost surreal. Everything responds instantly. Large projects compile quickly. 4K video editing runs smoothly. The OS itself never becomes the bottleneck. One reason this distribution feels so fast is its transparency. There's no hidden background indexing scanning your files constantly. No forced updates interrupting your workflow. You control what runs and when. The command line performance is particularly impressive. Terminal startup is instant. Shell operations execute without delay. File searches using modern tools are incredibly fast. Developers and power users will appreciate this snappy responsiveness. System monitoring tools reveal efficient CPU scheduling. Processes are distributed evenly, no random spikes from unknown services. Thermal performance remains stable, even under load. Even software installation feels optimized. Package managers in performance-focused distros are often designed for speed. Parallel downloads, efficient dependency resolution, and fast mirror selection make updates quick and painless. Customization also contributes to perceived speed. Removing unnecessary startup applications reduces clutter. Adjusting kernel parameters can squeeze out even more performance. Advanced users can tweak swappiness, I/O schedulers, and CPU governors for maximum efficiency. Despite all this speed, stability remains solid. A well-maintained rolling release distro with strong community oversight ensures updates are tested before release. Crashes are rare. Performance remains consistent over time. The beauty of the fastest Linux distro ever tested is that it scales. Beginners can enjoy immediate speed without deep configuration. Advanced users can dive into fine-tuning for extreme performance gains. Imagine turning on your PC and being ready to work in seconds. Imagine launching heavy applications without watching a loading spinner. Imagine gaming without unnecessary background interruptions. That's the experience delivered here. The system feels alive, responsive, direct. Every click produces immediate feedback. Every command executes instantly. That sensation of control and efficiency is what defines true performance. In a world where operating systems grow heavier with every update, this distro moves in the opposite direction. It trims the excess. It respects your hardware. It prioritizes speed above all else. Whether you're reviving old hardware, optimizing a development machine, or building a gaming setup, insane performance is achievable. The fastest Linux distro ever tested proves that software efficiency still matters. And here's the best part. Speed doesn't require sacrificing freedom. You retain full control, full transparency, full customization. No forced ecosystem lock-in. At the end of the day, performance is about how a system makes you feel. If it feels instant, it is instant. If it never gets in your way, it's doing its job perfectly. This isn't just another Linux distribution. It's a reminder that optimization still wins, that thoughtful engineering beats bloated design, that speed is a feature. If you've never experienced a truly optimized Linux system, you owe it to yourself to try one. Because once you feel that level of responsiveness, it's hard to go back. The fastest Linux distro ever tested doesn't just run on any PC, it transforms it, and that transformation is nothing short of insane.